What's up everybody, Alex here, and welcome to this Dota Underlords guide on their recently updated shop and draft pool. Now, some players might not have realized this, but there are actually a finite number of each individual hero available in the shop. So every time you re-rolled, there was a finite, hey, look at all these Crystal Maidens I can upgrade. There's actually a finite number of heroes in the shop. Now, the way this works is as such. What you're looking at right now is the pre-patch change. There used to be 45 tier 1 heroes available in the shop. 45 of each individual tier 1 hero available for all 8 players. Now there are only 30. And I thought that it was important. It's very easy for me to say, well, yeah, there's 45, there used to be 45 and now there's only 30, but I think that visualizing it's really important. So here's what the difference looks like. So this is the 45, this is the 30. Now, of course, you're saying, yes, Alex, that's less Crystal Maidens, and I'm pulling up my codes on the other screen here. But what becomes increasingly important to understand is when you actually consider how that affects your ability to 2 and 3 star these units. Now, the change is not as kind of impactful at tier 1, but at tier 2 it's much more. At tier 3 and 4 it's extremely significant, so kind of bear with me here. So essentially what you're looking at here is you got a total of 15 available at the old patch. You had a total of 15 available 2-star tier 1 units per individual unit. Now if you move to the latest patch, now you're only at 10. That's a very significant drop off. This becomes much more significant when you actually consider how that affects your ability to 3-star tier 1 units. So now, you used to be able to get a total of 5 3 stars of each individual tier 1 unit. Now, you're only able to get 3, and you got a little bit of left over here with the Drow Ranger. But really, only 3 tier 1 units for each individual hero is available. 3-star units for each tier 1 unit is available. There used to be 5. A very significant change. So, if you actually consider just how many tier 1 units there are, that's a very significant number of units that have been pulled out of the shop. A very significant number. Now, this is only at tier 1. When we actually look at tier 2, so tier 2 went from 30 to 20. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So here's our spirits. We have Earth Spirit at the bottom representing our 30 of what used to be in the shop, and now the 20 of the Storm Spirits that are now available after the latest patch. As you can see, it's a pretty significant difference in terms of just pure numbers. Now, once again, when we compare the ability to 2-star these units, what you're going to see is a huge drop-off. Now this is becoming a little more apparent. So at tier 2, there used to be, 10 available tier 2, units for 2 stars, in this case, Earth Spirit. Now, there's only 6. So it's going to, again, you can still 2-star these units. It's not a big deal. But the real thing becomes when you start to try and move towards 3 stars, especially when you're noticing contention against those units. There used to be the opportunity to get 3-star tier 2 units. It's actually hard, like it's almost like a tongue twister. But now you can only get 2 3 stars. You can only get 2. There's not enough units in the pool to get any more. So this is a very significant change, because if you see someone with a a 3-star Storm Spirit and someone else has a 2-star and you have a 2-star, that means you're not going to be able to 3-star that unit. So it's very important that you understand how this impacts your ability to 2 and 3-star units moving down the line. Now again, this actually becomes even more impactful as you move into tier 3. There used to be 25, now there's only 15 of each individual unit. Here's Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit is representing the pre-patch numbers, and we have Lycan representing the post-patch numbers. So what we've got here is we've got 15 Lycans, 25 Ember Spirits, and as you can see, it is a pretty significant difference. But once again, let's take a look at how we can 2-star these units. We actually 2-star these units. Once again, you see that there are 8 Embers and now only 5 Lycans. So once again, the shop is extremely thinned out, and this becomes extremely more apparent when you move into 3 stars. And I'm using Ember Spirit here as an example, but realistically, think about this for a second. If anybody 3 stars a tier 3 unit, it makes it impossible to get another 3-star. There's only one 3-star tier 3 unit available per game. You're going to have some extras. You're going to get baited into it. You're going to have the 2 Lycans. You're thinking, oh, here's my time. I'm going to get the 3-star. No, it can't happen. There used to be an opportunity to get 2 3-star tier 3 units, but now that's gone. It's gone. With the current shop numbers, you can only get 1 tier 3 unit of each individual hero with some tier 2 extras. That's it. Very important to understand, especially when, builds like, spirits are as contested as they are. Getting a 3-star Ember Spirit, actually a pretty good idea. Not a bad idea. Don't 3-star Storm Spirit in Spirit builds, by the way, but Ember Spirit, get them at 3 stars. But now you're going to be in a situation where there's only going to be 1 3-star available for that crew. So, even Vipers, for instance, can be 3-starred, and you're only going to be able to have 1. Moving to tier 4, things get really interesting. Tier 4, so there used to be 20 of each unit, now there's only 12. So basically, here's the Void Spirit representing our spirits. Again, this is pre-patch, and this is what 20 looked like, and now the Disruptors at 12. A very significant drop-off, and once again, it really kind of impacts the ability to get 2-star units, because what you've got here, now you've only got the 6. Before, you can only get 6 3-star tier 4 units, and you have a few extras here, but now you can only get 4 2-stars of tier 4 units. And when you move that to 3 stars, suddenly you see, oh man, so you used to be able to get double, so you used to be able to get 2 3-star tier 4 units. Now you can, if one person 3 stars a tier 4 unit, you can't 3-star another one, right? You're gonna have a 2-star extra, but at the end of the day, this is what you're looking at. This is what you're looking at. So a huge change, and this impacts the way you play the game very significantly, because if you're doing kind of rolling strategies and keeping an eye on the shop and what your opposition is doing, as you should be now, you should have always been doing it, but now it's more than ever very important that you track what your opponents are doing. It's very important that you understand that, like, for instance, if you're kind of contesting Disruptor, if there's multiple 2-star Disruptors on the field of play, it's almost impossible for you to get, it will be impossible for you to get a 3-star. So it's very important that you don't chase that dream and re-roll and blow up your economy and stuff like that. At tier 5, before I move on to tier 5, I should mention that it's also really important to understand that now those tier 4 units are very important to kind of hold on to at times, because if you're thinking about running voids, and you run across a Void Spirit, passing him in that shop is that much more detrimental, because if someone else picks him up, they're pulling him out of the shop and really reducing your opportunity to get him. With that being said, you can also deny a little bit in the sense that if someone is approaching a 3-star Disruptor, you could hold on to a 2-star Disruptor or other units to really destroy his opportunity to get that 3-star. Especially when you're like the top 3 and you guys are kind of competing for units, you could kind of deny by taking units away from him. Now, tier 5 remain the same. There's always been 10 tier 5 units, and I thought I would show you what that looks like on the board. So here's your 10 tier 5 units. You can get 3 available 2-stars and only 1 available 3-star. So really interesting here, and if of course if you 3-star it, you'll have 1 extra of that unit available to get picked up in the shop. But a very, very significant change to Dota Underlords, because the shop has been completely changed, completely reworked, and I think that in most games you're going to see the biggest impact right here at tier 3. I think that this is the biggest impact in the game. Tier 4 as well, but at tier 3 there's going to be a lot of people who will not be able to pull the units they need, and it's gonna be interesting to see just how this impacts the meta. I actually, it's a brand new patch, but I would think that it actually benefits people who level up a little more aggressively, because you're going to be able to pull those units out of the shop earlier, because you want to increase your odds, because as you level up, you change the odds of your ability to get certain units, and you almost want to drop your tier 1 unit odds if you're after those higher tier units, because if as you push them out of the shop, you're reducing, because it's like a pyramid, right? The tier 1 units represent the greatest number of heroes, but as you can reduce the percentage chance of pulling them in the shop, especially while other people have them, you're able to kind of increase your opportunity to get those higher tier units, like those lone druids, which are so valuable, and those tide hunters, which are so contested. So I think it actually takes advantage of people leveling. And something else I will mention is you also want to keep an eye on your opposition, because when someone gets eliminated, their heroes come back into the shop. That can be a help or it can be a hindrance, because let's say you're running spirits, as we are here with the Ember Spirit, and let's say that two people are about to get eliminated and they're running Brawnies and the other guy's running Hunters. Well, you'd almost want to re-roll before they get eliminated, because once they get eliminated, all those Brawnies and all those Hunters are going to fly back into the shop and reduce your opportunity to pull the spirits. So there's a lot of actual in-depth strategy. I love this change. I'm so glad it happened. I'm sure they're going to tweak it, but this was an absolutely fantastic change. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I would be more than happy to answer. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope that this helps you find success in Dota Underlords, as a lot of things are changing, and very special thank you to all of my wonderful subscribers. Take care, everyone, and I hope that this guide helped you find success in Dota Underlords.